Welcome back to the Hot Slice. I'm creative director Josh Keown. Along with me, editor-in-chief Jeremy White. What's up, Jeremy? How you doing, man?
I'm excited about this episode of the Hot Slice.
Super great guy we got on the show today. I think one of the last, well, it wasn't the last time, but in Las Vegas. Poor Will, remember? He injured his leg the very first night we were there. He was on like a little cart the rest of the time. But he was a trooper, man. He didn't miss a thing the whole week.
Will, you're talking about Will Grant. That's some pizza in Washington State. Bainbridge Island. Is that the name of the island?
I think so, yeah. It's right across from Seattle. That's a ferry ride away from Seattle. And he's just now opened another location. I think he opened up in June right there at the ferry called
Sourdough Willies. You know, Will's kind of known, and we will discuss this with him when we get him on. Will's really kind of known for his work with sourdough. He's maintained a sourdough starter for his entire 36 years in the pizza business, but it was passed on to his family from others down through generations. It is well over 100 years old.
Well, yeah, the first time I heard him tell that story, I was just passing by. I heard him telling that story at Expo one year. I just stopped in my tracks. I was like, "What? How many years old?" It's like 120
It's insane.
Years old.
It's absolutely insane. Well, I mean, we've got ours for the Pizza Today kitchen, and it's 5 years old.
I miss that little guy. How's he doing it? How's he doing at your house? Since we know we can't get in the test kitchen right now, or I don't know when we'll ever get back in the test kitchen. But you know, I miss our little starter.
First of all, it's named Ruth after my grandmother because her personality is bold and beautiful, just like my grandmother Ruth. But no,
there you go.
No, she's doing fantastic. You know, we make it, and our listeners may not realize this, but when they flip through the pages of Pizza Today magazine, or they look at pizzatoday.com or the e-newsletters that they get from us, any food that they see, we have photographed ourselves, and 90% of it we have made ourselves. Obviously, we visit restaurants when we can, pizzerias when we're doing profiles and features, and you or Katie will photograph the food there in the restaurant. But everything else we make in the Pizza Today test kitchen, we make it ourselves. We develop our own recipes. We make it, we plate it, we style it, we shoot it. And we're very proud of that.
Yeah, in one day I could start the morning at Whole Foods, getting the ingredients, bringing it back, making Jeremy had made the dough the day before or 48 hours before, and then bring it back, make the pizza, photograph the pizza, put the photograph on the page. It's designed we could do that
in one day.
In one day.
Yeah, test kitchen days are the best days. I always say that.
Yeah, I mean we're content makers. We're not pizza makers by any means, but we do the best we can with you know the guidance that we've gotten over the years from going to shows and visiting pizzerias and whatnot, and having the best minds in the pizza business. A phone call.
You're right. I'm going to toot our own horn a little bit. We have turned into some really darn good pizza makers. Some of the food that comes out of our test kitchen is amazing. Other times, maybe it doesn't turn out as well as light because we're not professionals, but through lighting and camera angles, you and Katie are able to make it look attractive. But
extreme close-ups sometimes, just to if it doesn't come out well.
We're not pros, but hey, let's be honest though, we pump out some pretty good pizzas in the test kitchen. We really do.
I'm pretty proud of it. Anyways, especially within the last 5 years when we started making our own dough, things really changed as far as the look of the pizza goes.
That's when we really took off.
And let it all.
Absolutely. Yeah. We had noticed during our photo shoots, wow, this pizza tastes good. It looks good, but something's lacking. It's not up to par to when we go out and visit pizzerias across the country, it's not up to par to what they service. And we realized that it was a light bulb. Hello, why we didn't know this earlier. Stupidity, I guess. But we realized, wait a minute, it's the dough, it's a crust. We are not producing a crust that's really high quality. And how are we going to fix this? And we're like, let's start with a dough formula, a really good dough formula, and let's rock it out. And that's what we did. And one of the things we did was we said, all right, let's start a sour. Let's maintain our own sour. Let's do a naturally leavened pizza dough. Let's not rely on commercial yeast, and let's really delve into this process. And that's what we did. And our starter, she's now 5 years old, almost. She'll be 5 years old in January. And we've done a really, really good job of babying her and taking care of her and feeding her and bringing her along. And Will probably get a little kick when we tell him that we got a 5-year-old sour when his is well over 100 years. But hey, we're off to a good start. One of these days in the year 2200, the creative director and editor of Pizza Today 2200 will be sitting in their spaceship on Mars and will be like, and we're still using a sour that they started way back in 2016 in Louisville, Kentucky, on planet Earth.
All right. Well, on that note, without any further ado, let's get to Mr. Will Grant.
Hey everyone, it's Katie, art director at Pizza Today, here to interrupt your podcast with a short commercial break. Performance Food Service is proud to deliver high-quality products, innovative technology, and custom operational solutions to restaurants of all sizes across the country. The flagship division of Performance Food Group, with deep roots in the restaurant industry, Performance Food Service has been the exclusive distributor of the Roma family of brands for more than 65 years. This signature relationship has allowed Performance Food Service to become a leader in the pizza and Italian segment of food service nationwide. And now, back to the slice.
Will, welcome to the Hot Slice.
Thank you for having me. This is quite the honor. I really appreciate it.
We really miss your face. We haven't seen it in over a year now. I guess it's probably been a year this month. I guess were you pizza pasta?
Yeah, no, I think last time I saw you guys was there, and that was supposed to be today, right?
Yeah.
I think yesterday, today, tomorrow. It's pretty surreal, but I definitely miss my pizza family. You guys are a big part of that, and I appreciate being able to see the Hot Slice and be able to kind of catch in with everyone and see how everyone's doing. So it's a neat opportunity to be a part of this. Thank you.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to ask you about, because I am a sourdough fanatic / aficionado, I'm very proud of my sour, which is almost 5 years old now.
Wow, that's awesome.
Which is a real baby and a real infant compared to yours. Yours is
Will's trying to hold a straight face right now with saying, "Oh,
yeah,
it's, yeah,
5 years."
I love it.
Just so everyone knows who are listening to the podcast, Will's sour is like 14.2 billion years old or something like that. It's like Earth, I think Will's sour provided the spark that created the Big Bang that formed Earth.
You heard it here first. Yes, it's a 120-year-old sourdough starter. It was passed down to our original business partner's family from the Klondike, back to California, then back up again to Washington, and it's what we've been using to bake my family's pizzas for 36 years now, almost 37 years here now. Coming up soon.
That's insane. And now you know why Will smirked when I said, I'm really proud of my 5-year-old sour.
Man, I mean, it takes a lot of time and love and passion for baking. Anyone that does a month old to 5 years old to 125 years old, I think it's a passion. I think it's really cool that people are into it. It's, especially now it's become so popular. It's something I've done for 36 years, and all of a sudden now with this pandemic, everyone loves sourdough. I'm like, no way, really?
Yeah, it's hot right now.
It's kind of nuts.
It's really hot right now, which is cool.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this quick question about that, because I've noticed with my sour that it has really developed more flavor over time, more complexity. It's continually changing, but that's to be expected. It went from an infancy to now 5 years old. What about a sour that's as old as yours? Is there any difference in its flavor now from say 5 to 10 years ago, or does it reach a point to where, hey, it's maxed out and this is just its characteristic and it's no longer going to change with age, or does it continue to still change?
It kind of sticks to what it is. Once you start developing a hooch, you develop your acids in it. It is what it is. The lactobacteria, the yeast in it, are what the yeasts are in it. So, and it's kind of interesting. People always think, oh, you take it to a new environment and it changes. Well, no, not really with established ones. With young ones, 5 years and younger, something like that, it is very susceptible. And plus, that's what the hooch is for. that alcohol little that builds up on top, the hooch, is actually what saves it from any outgoing or incoming bacteria that would come and change what you have there. So the reality is, the pizza's just the same now as it was then, and the flavors of it are just the same there. So it has, with us, it's been a little different. We've never refrigerated our sourdough starter in 36 years. So ours is really unique in that way also. There's not many, A, 120-year-old sourdough starters and B, left out like that. Luckily in the Pacific Northwest, it's very, it's kind of a damp, humid, and it's cold. So it's really a great environment to do that. You can't do that in Arizona or, New York in the summertime and stuff. Already, even with we only go from maybe the 50s to sometimes the 80s here, occasionally the 90s. There's not a lot of change, but I do, change my hydration of my starters and my doughs when we make them with the different seasons. But, generally, once you got it, it's there, and that's what you got. That's your baby.
What does it do for your crust in terms of flavor and texture?
Well, that's a hard line for me because, it's always what my crust has been, right? It's always been a naturally leavened. And so it's, for me, I just think it's the base of everything for your pizza. So it gives it a great structure underneath it. It gives, the way that you're pushing the moisture out. And, I've played a lot with the different hydrations with the pizza. After going to Tony's school, I think we were at 55% hydration. So basically I was making a bagel and trying to let it rise before service. We would actually roll out all our pizzas before service and let them rise for 2 to 3 hours. And that's the pizza we would really go for. And so, over the years after Tony's, he's like, go for 70, and then we went up to 70 and my staff were like, what are you doing to us? We can't do this. So we brought it back down to about 63%. It's, much more manageable for the staff when you're making, 200 pounds of dough a day. Anything you can do to make things more efficient really helps.
Right.
So it's, but it's that caramelization, the flavors. We ferment our pizza. We make it today. You'll eat it in 4 to 5 days. This isn't an overnight. This isn't emergency dough to us is 48-hour dough, right? So it's it really gives a crisper, lighter crust with a lot more structure, and then you get those nutty aromas with sourdough, and you have to pay special attention how you cook it too. You want it to a little browner. You want it. I do my dough a little thicker, so you do get that French baguette around the edge of the pizza. Your conocione there really gets some great nutty characteristics like that.
Sounds amazing. Josh, are you ready to get on a plane and go sample it?
I'm ready to go right now.
You guys are always invited.
Well, if we ever get to travel again, we would love to get out there.
Someday.
Well, speaking of, you just opened a new concept. Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, as you guys have known, because I've known you guys for a really long time, it's been, Sourdough Willies, really the concept behind it started after I won the Caputo Cup. I knew at that moment in my life in the pizza industry and finally sharing what I had done and what I'd learned with the world and seeing that, I knew I needed to take things to the next step. I had kind of been holding back for a while because I had a young daughter, and I really wanted to be there for her because I know how the restaurant just takes over your life. I grew up in it. I've been in this business since I was 6 years old. So I wanted to wait until she was at least 6 so I could get a lot of that, good time with her at her age. So I was ready to get started. I won the Caputo Cup. I joined the World Pizza Champion team, and I needed to do something a little different. And I loved what Tony had done with the school there. I wanted myself to take things up the next level. So I went to the school, and I was just like, wow, this is unbelievable. Not only, is this guy the top pizza maker in the world, but he's sharing it with everyone, and just this positivity is going with it. So I really wanted to bring a lot of that same kind of that concept up here to the Pacific Northwest. So I wanted to do something with several different styles of pizza. Around here, pizza isn't as big as it is in different parts of the nation whatsoever. My biggest competitions are chains, right? And people think they're mom and pop places, but they'll have like 30 or 40 locations. And so for me, I wanted to bring something different to the area. And Sourdough Willy's was a great way to do it. Not only am I doing my traditional sourdough New York style, but we brought in a Roman style pizza. We're doing a Detroit style, doing Sicilian style, and as we finish the construction, because we still have another month to go on the project, we're actually going to be adding Neapolitan style as well. And then kind of as things come to fruition with everything, we'll be able to really start with the school there too. I'm going to be doing the Northwest School of Sourdough. And
how many ovens do you have there, Will?
Right now, we currently have 3, and that's what we're going to go with for right now. We have a beautiful and brand new Moretti Forni. We have a brand new Forno Bravo, and then I also have my workhorse, the good old tried and true Rotoflex. So we can really bang out some pizzas out of there.
So what's going to happen at the Northwest School of Sourdough?
So, the general idea was, at first I wanted to do a school and share it. And then I realized that when I was traveling so much with the team, I met so many people across the nation. I wanted to share it with my region. That's really what this has been all about. That's what I am as a restaurateur. I'm a host, and I want to show the locals a good time and really show them what I've learned throughout the world. So the same aspect is going with the school. So we'll be doing home baker classes, we'll be doing professional classes, and we'll be doing guest speaker classes. So we'll have, I think we already have set up about 5 different classes for home bakers, starters and breads, doing, of course, pizza. We'll be doing different brunches also there, different waffles, pancakes. I just had the opportunity to go to Belgium and spend some time with their Belgian pancakes. I have some friends locally that do some. So stuff like that, doing cinnamon rolls, sticky buns, and going back to the pizza as well for home bakers. Then the professional side of things, we'll go over each style. So I guess also saying with the home bakers, they'll probably be 3 to 4 hour one-day classes, as opposed to the professional ones will be 3 to 4 day full immersive classes, how to make certain styles of pizza. It will be, of course, my sourdough take on these pizzas and my methods, but it's still I'm really blessed that this. Sourdough Willies started, 4 months ago. That's just some pizza has been around for 36 years. I've really been blessed with that, being able to grow up in the restaurant industry. So I have a lot of perspective on it. And that being said, also, Sourdough Willies is my 13th restaurant I've opened. So I've had a wide range of experience through different kind of pizzerias and restaurants through the years that can really come through and share with people. So we'll do and on top of the professional ones, we're going to be bringing in different schools also. So the Academy Pizzioli in Italy, I'm working with them, Enrico Fama, on doing actually their first school in the United States here also at the Sourdough Willy's location. So we'll in fact have 2 different schools. We'll have the Northwest School of Sourdough, and we'll also have Academy Pizzioli. So we'll have my American take and sourdough take on everything. And then also we'll have the Italian take, really doing true Pizzioli certifications for Neapolitan style pizzas.
What is Sourdough Willies?
So Sourdough Willies is it's a concept for me. It's for me to be able to share what I've learned with the world, to share not only what I've been doing here for 36 years, but bringing these different, these Roman style pizzas that I've gone to school for in Italy, and bring them back here, and to bring the Neapolitan style here, and beyond that, just share it with other people who are passionate about it. I have my own nickname for people who love breads. I call them dough dorks, and I love being a dough dork, and I love sharing that. And it's been neat to see with the industry, being in the restaurant and pizza industry, the differences between both has been pretty big. In the pizza industry, you can ask someone, what a recipe is, and they'll tell you what the recipe is, and they'll walk you through it. The restaurant industry is a little different. You could be more likely to get stabbed in the back than someone tell you who their distributor is. So it's
right.
I really enjoyed learning as much as I can from the community, from the Pizza Expo and stuff like that. Really, so much I've learned at these seminars and stuff like that, and been able to kind of use that knowledge for helping people locally too, because there isn't a lot of big pizza culture here. So for me to be able to bring it to the Pacific Northwest and do it well has been important to me. So this is really a great way for me to share it with the community. And then it's one of the things I didn't talk about, the classes with the guest chef classes. So as I've traveled the world competing, I've met all kinds of people all over the place. So I'll be inviting different people from the World Pizza Champion team. I have bakers from Holland and Belgium that will be coming here, people from UK, and we'll be doing once a month classes. And on top of that, they'll be doing the specials for the month will be based on what that guest chef does. So it gives us the opportunity to do several classes with that chef, but also do specials for the month for the restaurant, where they kind of show influence that way. So
where is the restaurant going to be?
So it's in Kingston, Washington, which is right in the Pacific Northwest on the Salish Sea, formerly known as the Puget Sound. It's directly across from Seattle. There's a 30-minute passenger ferry from downtown Seattle you can take there, and there's also it has two ports of entry, so it also has a car ferry from Edmonds, Washington. It takes about 25 minutes. So it's right on the Puget Sound with an amazing view of the ferries of Mount Rainier, Space Needle, and it's really a really magical spot.
That sounds like an ideal location. I know exactly where you're talking about. I'm a big fan of the Pacific Northwest. I've traveled there extensively, and I know the area you're talking about. It is absolutely
We actually rode our bikes
beautiful.
through there, I think so.
Yeah, we did. Beautiful area.
So, Willies opened up in June-ish. You're opening up a new pizzeria in the middle of a pandemic. What kind of challenges did you have going on as far as that goes?
Well,
all
COVID
of them, I guess.
Yeah, literally all of them. COVID hit about a month and a half before we were planning. We were, with a project this big, you're not really planning on opening. It just, when you're ready to open, you're ready to open when things kind of fall in line. So things kind of fell in line with us right in the middle of this. But that being said, when COVID hit, at our original restaurant, that's Some Pizza, we lost 50% of our business and 50% of our staff. So that was kind of a big blow, especially, I'd say 25% of that staff that walked off the job were actually being trained for the new restaurant. So I had to kind of start from ground one again. I had to work, I was working 5 days a week, and that's Some Pizza. Then, the extra 2 days a week and any spare time out of there, I was working on Sourdough Willies. And so I had to kind of start from the ground up there again. And then, on top of that, any of the pizziolos that locally, they were out of town, they left. So I had to, basically come up with training procedures with a whole new brand of pizza that no one in the area had even tried making before. So, it was a struggle at first, but restaurants always are. I'm happy that I'm in the takeout industry and the model follows as well as it does. That being said, though, like I said, Bainbridge Island is really a unique area where that's Some Pizza is. It's all by 16 miles. There's 24,000 people live there. It's an island with a bridge and a ferry. So it's a little different than being actually in the city, in Seattle. It's its own little world and environment there. So you'd think with, this kind of situation, things would, our business would double, triple, right? Well, there's so many nice restaurants downtown Bainbridge Island. All the locals wanted to support them more. So it went away from everyone going to us. Everyone just kept coming to the pizzeria like, oh, God, you guys must be slammed. We're like, yeah, no, we're about 50% down. And I'm working here full time because I lost 50% of my staff. And so it was interesting. We became one of 2 delivery services on Bainbridge Island to one of 20 delivery services on Bainbridge Island.
Wow.
So it was really scary at first, but what I decided to do, because 36 years into this isn't the first time we've seen something like this happen. What I realized with beyond takeout, what pizza is, it's comfort food, especially when you've been part of a community as long as we have. So keeping things the same as I could for as long as I could, and keeping things regular, right? Everyone talks about the new normal. Well, I want the old normal to come back, so I'm trying to be as consistent as possible that way. We're not really doing curbside. People pick up a lot. We do deliveries. We do the we'll do the contactless deliveries, but we didn't really change much there. We took out our inside dining tables, any bar stools out of the restaurants, but I try to keep consistent. That's with sourdough itself, right? You're feeding into us and you're growing something. You're growing, happiness is the way I look at it, because we feed the sourdough every day. We make these pizzas, we send them to people, and they get to spend time with their family. They get to sit down together. And so for us to grow happiness and let people, spend family time together, especially in something like this, something they can rely on that's dependable, that is the same from before, really is a strength to a community, because that's what you really are. Over the years, 36 years, you are a piece of community. People come to you because there's something you give to them and to their families. And so keeping things as consistent as possible has really always been the goal, but especially in these kind of times, it's more and more important.
And being around 36 years, I mean, you guys got nostalgia going for you too. I mean, people grew up with your
Yeah.
pizza, so it really takes them to a nice, comfortable spot.
Exactly. We have 3 generations of family members that come in, and they still to this day, 36 years later, they order every Friday night between I think it's 5 and 7. It's kind of crazy. We'll do on a Friday night between 5 and 7. We'll do about 110 phone calls an hour or orders an hour with 2 to 3 pizzas per order, just in that 2-hour period. So it's kind of crazy. We'll do double to triple the numbers of any other day of the week just on Friday. And not like it's super crazy big or anything like a lot of these guys, but for our community, it's a lot and it's all at once. But it's like I said before, it's takeout in COVID time. So I really, really feel blessed, not to have a big dining room that can only be 50% full. And then all these different laws were changing so much, right? Every 15 minutes, 25% full, 50% full, one family at a table, 2 families at a table, 5 people at a table, 6 people at a table. There's just so much craziness in the world, right? And what can you do? Just kind of keep chugging along and just do the best job.
I'm sure you have to keep a crazy spreadsheet just to keep count of, what the new regulations are.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of nuts, and they literally just changed yesterday again too. So it's a weird world, but we make the best of it like we always do. We're really, like I said, blessed to be in the takeout division of things, and to be opening a restaurant now is kind of crazy. In the middle of all this pandemic, there's so many places closing down. To be able to be establishing ourselves now and doing something different here also, I think kind of gives hope to the area, and even to the restaurant industry and the pizza industry, that even in the worst of times you can come up with something new, and you can come up with something unique, and you can be good at it. So I just hopefully that's how we'll remember this in the next 36 years, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Hey everyone, it's Katie, Art Director at Pizza Today, here to interrupt your podcast with a short commercial break. For over 32 years, the multi-award-winning PDQ POS system has consistently been a top-rated point-of-sale system for pizzerias, delivery, and quick service. With built-in and seamless integrations to all top-tier third-party platforms, native online ordering and rewards, contactless POS functionality, and a delivery toolkit app that enhances all aspects of delivery, PDQ POS will help your restaurant achieve sustained growth while saving time, effort, and costs. Learn more today at pdqpos.com or call 877-968-6430. That's 877-968-6430. Your friends at Message on Hold are happy to introduce our voice-over IP service. Message on Hold Phones is our solution for phone service. If the internet goes down, it's no problem. You can still take online and phone orders. No busy signal ever. Professionally recorded, customized messaging for your business ensures that your customer gets the message that you want delivered to them every time. Save money and get new phones. Visit www.messageonholdservice.com/phones. And now, back to the slides.
Have you made any changes to your menu as a result of the pandemic? Have you streamlined or added certain food you thought would deliver well, or taken anything off because it wouldn't travel well? Anything like that?
I had made a lot of changes before all this had happened, after winning the Caputo Cup. And then also because we did get so busy also. And then, just even before the pandemic, opening up Sourdough Willies, there were some fundamental changes I wanted to do. And it's funny to see these changes that people are starting to follow now. Like we used to be kind of a build your own restaurant with 20 different specialties, and that's some pizza. You could interchange wherever you wanted. But we got so busy, we're an island of 24,000 people. There's not that many employees to work there. A lot of, 16, 17-year-old kids. You got to make this as easy and as efficient as possible. I used to get crazy. People would do like half and half. So one specialty, another specialty, change 3 or 4 of the fundamental toppings on it. So they're thinking about the pizzas in 2 different ways, and then have to read their way through it. When you're getting, 5 pizzas a minute for 2 or 3 hours, you can't be spending 10 minutes on one pizza. Yeah. So we really worked on streamlining that side of the process of things too. We did another thing that's I think has helped us out in the long run, but a lot of people are really against is it's been kind of controversial. I don't like being controversial. I'd like being Switzerland, but we've gone cashless, and it's to be honest with you, it's been a dream kind of come true. I mean, it's kind of nuts. there's nothing dirtier in the world than cash. How mmany times that $1 bill has been, and who knows where it's been,
Right.
Through banks and through people's wallets and through the ground. You don't know where it's been. And then when you've got a long day, you've got, a double shift, you got a manager working 10, 12 hours, they've just busted their butt working for you. Then they have to spend the last half hour to 45 minutes of the day counting cash and miscounting cash and then recounting cash. It's kind of a nightmare. So being able to do cashless has really saved us a lot of time for the management. I mean, unbelievable amount of time. You don't have to run for change twice a day. You don't have to worry about tipping out your drivers with all the money. So you have to go back to the bank,
I've had the same $20 bill in my wallet since mid-March, and it's still there. I haven't spent cash since mid-March, I'm sure.
Well, it's crazy. I haven't really spent I keep cash out of my wallet. Otherwise, I always do spend it. So for the last 5 or 6 years, I just wouldn't carry cash with me. So I'd always say, oh, I have cash. I need to spend it on something. Yeah. Well, no, you don't. You can use your card. So definitely streamlining the menu is, like I said, it's been kind of crazy. We were working on this ahead of times, always, you got to keep track of your prices and raising costs and stuff like that. I'm really, it's funny. I'm a big believer in prime costs, and I've talked about it before with you guys. It's so important. It doesn't matter if you're doing $1 million in sales. It doesn't matter if you're doing $100,000 in sales. If you know what your costs are and you know what you're breaking even with, that's what you really have to go off of. Because, I see people, I'm closing down. I can't do it. I don't know what to do. Well, what's your labor cost? Have you tried cutting off hours? And I think I'm busier at lunch. I don't know. It's like, well, you've got a point of sales program that literally tells you exactly what you need to do, and it shows you what you can do. And that really for us was the biggest change too. So that's a Some Pizza for the past 36 years. We sold pizza by the slice. I've done articles with you guys about doing slices. COVID hit, we lost half our staff. We lost, I stopped doing slices. I took out the slice warmer out of That's a Some Pizza. We actually moved it to Sourdough Willies. And it was kind of detrimental to us. I really took the time, and even, someone like me that talks about prime cost all the time, sometimes you get caught up in what has to be done. And so I took it away, so we went from being open from 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. daily to being open from 2:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. daily. And it was amazing. It's been awesome. 75% of our business was done in the evenings anyways. Honestly, it's more like, 85, 90% business. So we were spending, having someone come in at, 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, turning on the oven, spending the gas all day for the oven, spending money on these slices. And we were just kind of really weren't keeping a track of things. So especially we just moved our location. So we closed down for lunch. And then I was talking to my wife about it. She's like, well, you need to open up for slices again. I was like, yeah, no, I don't really want to. It's just, a 2:30 to 7:30 shift. I have people work from 2 to 8 daily. It's 7 hours. There's no more overtime. There's no more managers working 10-hour shifts trying to make sure things are covered in there. It was just kind of a dream. And she was like, well, no, you need to do it. I was like, well, let's look at the numbers. The numbers are the boss, right? So we sat down and looked at the numbers. And I think what I found is that I think was from November to February, we had done $63,000 in sales from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. And with that same report, I looked at, we had paid $60,000 in wages to our staff. So you add our, 20% food cost, you add our fixed costs. We were losing $2,000 a month being open for lunches for the last year and a half anyways. So you always have to be adjusting the pizza industry. I always joke that it's always one fight after another fight after another fight, because you're always struggling to make it forward. It never gets easy. It just gets more detailed on what you're fighting about and what's important to you for those battles you win. So even a battle with my wife and my family, I realized that, we've changed to a whole different direction with our pizzeria. That's really, so once again, our labor went for 30% down to 20% on all this, on top of, losing staff and hours and stuff. So it really made a big, big difference. And I think fundamentally eating is going to be changed in the United States, for the world, for the next probably 5-10 years because of this. So many restaurants are shutting down dining room service. They can't afford it, right? Now, we talked about earlier, you're spending, imagine in a hot location, downtown Seattle, the square footage, what you have to paying rent for tables you can't use, people are just going to stop doing it anymore. So I think it's it's a lot more what you see, a lot less staff working, a lot less hours being open, and just kind of more streamlined menus. And that's what you always have to do anyways, but it's amazing how it's times like these that kind of make you refocus your energies on what you're working on.
Absolutely. What great insight. I'm glad you shared that story, and those listening who are in your shoes, owning pizzerias across the country and trying to take a look at what's going to be profitable moving forward for them. You really need to examine every facet of the business. Do I need to be open for lunch? Do I not need to be open for lunch? Do I need to sell slices? Do I not need to sell slices? Why? You've got to do a deep dive into those numbers. And you might,
one thing this pandemic,
you may discover just like you did. Wow, I thought this was a great thing. I saw 63,000 in revenue and thought, wow, I'm crushing it. And then you look at the numbers and you're like, oh, I'm losing money every month by doing this.
Mm-hmm. And long-term effects.
Yeah, one thing the pandemic has done is made everyone look in the mirror and adjust, what they need to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and long-term effects of this too. So because we were running such high labor there, it was showing us at a loss, even though, I haven't changed my wages there in years, we're still getting paid, we're still doing well, but the business itself is showing a loss. So trying to refinance, rates have gone from 5% down to 2%. I want to refinance my house. Well, guess what? I'm a sole proprietor in a restaurant that's been failing for a year and a half. I'm not getting refinanced, even though I haven't lost any money. I mean, things are still going great, but because it showed that way to the banks, banks have always been a real challenge with restaurants. We've always had to refinance our houses to open restaurants. We never got bank loans. They just wouldn't do it. It's 75% of all businesses that open the first year fail, and then after 5 years, 50% of those ones that actually made it fail also. So that's a really small portion of profits for them, and banks don't like giving loans unless they're really, really high loans. So it's interesting how there's a trickle down effect with that kind of stuff also. And here I am just thinking, I want to give my customers a good service, but here I am, with these long-term effects because of it.
Right. You want to be told you're high risk. Just walk into a traditional standard bank and say, hey, I want a loan to open a restaurant.
Right.
Right now, especially.
Yeah. No, it's kind of nuts.
Wow. Well, Will, man, I really appreciate the time, the energy that you bring, the insight. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, to find out what you've got up your sleeve next, because you've always got something really cool going on.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Will, and hopefully we will see you soon in person.
Absolutely. Well, I keep hearing about some virtual expo, and I'm really excited about that. I got to tell you what, having the last virtual, what you guys kind of did with that and having everything free on there was amazing. So at Sourdough Willies, I have a big screen that goes over all my media stuff, but I also had it streaming all that stuff from Pizza Today with that and the Pizza Expo. And it was really, really awesome stuff. They're great tools for people. Growing up in the Pacific Northwest, like I said, there's not a lot of pizza culture here. So for me, it was the Pizza Expo. It is you guys. So what you guys do and what you share is so valuable. So I just say, it's really fun to be a part of it.
We appreciate it. And
we appreciate the love.
Yeah, we're working hard on it.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Have a great week. And I really am honored that you invited me on the show.
Thank you, sir. We'll be in touch.
Thanks, Will.
Speaking of that aforementioned virtual event, we can't share many details right now, but we've actually got some plans for you that we'll be in touch very soon about. And I think you'll be excited.
Awesome.
We can't have a virtual expo without Will. We can't do it. We have to have Will.
Raise that roof, baby.
Right on. I love you guys. I miss you. It's been too long for sure. It's I think like last time we saw each other was a steakhouse in Atlantic City. So
That's right. That's right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, that
was a good time. Good old Timmy Tom.
we can't discuss that evening.
All right.
Thanks, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.
See ya.
Take care.
You too.